Hi everyone, welcome back to Crew Chats with Jen. It's been a long time. We've had a bit of a hiatus since our last episode, and I'm happy to say that I have Sydney back as my next guest. So Sydney, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Sydney Colburn. I am a fourth year senior at UCSD, so I'm a double major. I'm majoring in linguistics and history.
Okay.
And technically I have a minor in ASL, but it's not on the transcript.
Oh, okay. So Sydney, let's get started, and we're going to talk about kind of your background as an athlete and how you got into rowing. So my first question for you is, what was your athletic background before rowing?
I've been an athlete my entire life. I've been in soccer, or I was in soccer, like the little peewee soccer
Yes.
with the little fold-up nets.
Yes.
And I did soccer at the YMCA, and when I was 7, I joined a karate dojo, got my black belt in middle school in karate.
Yeah.
And about that same time, I was really bored with both sports, and I needed something different to do. So I quit both, and then my mom was like, yeah, you need to not be in the house. So my best friend at the time was rowing, doing just once a week, you get out in a boat and screw around. I was like, sure, I'll try that. And then I never left.
Wow. So, okay, what age did you start that program?
I was 14. That was the spring of 8th grade.
8th grade.
Yeah.
Wow, 8th grade.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I always thought that people only started in high school, and I remember talking to Erica, and she said she started in 8th grade too.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're still doing this.
That's a good question.
Many years. Okay, so I did some light research before conducting this interview, and I saw on the website that it said you had a black belt in Shodokan karate. Am I saying that?
Shudokan.
Shudokan.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a black belt.
I do.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So I think it was fairly easy in my dojo to get a black belt. You just kind of had to do okay.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of memorization, which I'm good at. The hardest part of that was red belt training. So you're a red belt for a year, and you have to for your black belt test, you have to do 10 straight punch defenses and 10 choke defenses and 10 hook punch defenses, and you have to show all of this kata, which is an imaginary fight. So you're showing how you would fight all of these different people. And it was a year of red belt training.
Okay.
And then I luckily ended up passing my black belt test on my first attempt. And then after black belt, there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can do. That's not the end of the training. It's really the beginning.
Okay.
But there's not as much structure.
Okay.
And I really I need the structure.
Okay.
So I just got really bored and I left.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But it was a really cool experience. It taught me a lot about dedication and how much knowledge and practice goes into being good at something.
Yeah. Could you beat someone up?
I mean, probably.
Okay. My next question for you is, was your connection to rowing instant, or do you think it took some time to develop a love for it?
I'm pretty sure it was instant. It was so long ago that I truly don't remember why I stuck around.
Yeah.
I really just looking back, it just is rowing. I started and then I didn't stop. I've always loved the water, and I love being in the water and around the water, and this is a fun story, but my mom's a big gardener, and so when she would water the plants, I always made her water my feet.
Aww,
So there's
so
pictures of me
cute.
as a kid with her watering my toes. So I love the water, and it was such a different sport from anything I had done, and I got to do it with my friend, and I made friends with other people that were doing it with me, and it was just, I don't know, it was just a really good time.
So one thing about you is that you're one of the co-captains of our team. And so I would love to talk about kind of what your experience has been with that. So what kind of responsibilities do you have as a captain of this team? Because I know with every team it looks a little bit different.
Right.
So yeah.
It's been a huge challenge. It's a lot of work, and especially the difference between last year's team and this year's team. It's been so different. Last year we didn't really get to do anything, and I didn't have to plan any events, and it was really just hey, remember we have a meeting today, hey, let's go put launches in. I felt like a leader, but not I had a different role than I normally would, right? And then this year, oh my God, this year was, I feel like I'm like always thinking 3 weeks ahead and I have to plan all of these things. And there was so much more logistical stuff at the beginning of this year. Like, when can we practice? Who do I need to talk to make sure they have paperwork in? There was just so much more that was like so much more work that I had to do that wasn't a thing last year. But I love being captain. I think it's super rewarding. I've always been kind of a leadery person, and it like brings me purpose to have a purpose.
Okay, and I remember, so thinking back to like my freshman year. Like I remember being a novice on the team, walking on, and I was like, I remember being intimidated by like the whole team, and I was like, the only people I feel like I would really talk to was people in my novice class. And I was like, but I felt like the two other people that I talked to was like Kaylin and you. Because I was like, well, yeah, Sydney's always really nice, like really welcoming, actually made me feel like I was a part of like the bigger team as a whole, not just like, oh, the novices over there.
I'm so glad.
Like, that theme of leadership, like I can really see how that has like shined through you over the past 4 years. So you should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you.
But okay, so another question I have for you is, so you said this year you've had to do a lot of logistical stuff. Like, do you feel like that's something you enjoy, or something that you felt like was your strong suit in the past, or has that been like a learning experience?
It's definitely been a learning experience. Anyone who like knows me as a student knows that I'm like a huge procrastinator. Like, I'm a terrible student.
You're not a terrible student. You go to UCSD.
I do.
So
it's because I'm good at taking tests. So it's definitely been like, I have like on my calendar, remind people about this, like tell people about this, talk to Andy about this, talk to Colin about this. It also has helped that like Andy and I set up like bi-weekly meetings with Colin to like, okay, what do we need this week? Okay, what do you need this week? Okay, let's match those up. And so it's like, it's easier to keep myself like on task and like ready to make sure that everyone else knows what's going on. It's definitely been a learning experience. It's just different.
It is, How would you describe the dynamic of like being a co-captain, like with you and Andy? How do you guys work together?
We work amazingly together. I love Andy so much. We're both we're both pretty easygoing. So it's really easy to just be like, hey, what do you want to do about this? Well, I think this. Yeah, okay, what if we did that with this? Great, done. And it just is. And we agree on like, we have a lot of the same feelings about different aspects of team management, and it's just, I don't know, we just work well together.
Who are some leaders that you look to as examples of how to lead?
I don't know that I necessarily look to people for how to lead. I think I take from my experience like on other teams and with other people to say like, okay, this is what I liked, this is what I don't like. I felt really isolated in my high school team, and so I make a point now of like making sure everyone feels included, making sure I'm talking to everyone. I take like one thing I love about Colin's coaching is like, he's very easygoing. He talks a lot about Ted Lasso, and he's like, he reminds me a lot of Ed Lasso.
He's fun and approachable, and like, he has that like get after it energy.
And he doesn't take the sport too seriously. Like obviously he takes it very seriously.
I feel like sometimes I'm like, wow, Colin is very serious at this moment, and it's like an out of character moment, you know. But
he like, I've heard of coaches who are like, you don't get to do anything but rowing. You have rowing in the morning and rowing in the afternoon, and you're going to row all day, every day, and that's all you get to think about. And I really appreciate that Colin's like, you're a rower, but you're also a person. And so you're going to do your rowing, and then you're going to go be a person. And I really like that aspect of his like approach to being a coach.
I couldn't survive in a team that was like, this is your whole life.
No.
How do you think the leadership has changed on this team over the past 4 years?
Andy and I actually talked about this a lot, and we were like, okay, we're shifting to D1. We have more people who started fast and are still fast. So we need to make a point of like being vocal as well as being a leader by example. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that. Of like, we wanted to say like, set an example of like, this is how our team is. You can come in and be whoever you want to be, but this is what our team is. I think that's done a lot for team culture. I think so far our team is amazing, and like, everyone's really nice to each other.
Yeah.
Which is like a blessing.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, because, well, it's funny because I hear stories of people from high school and they'll be like, oh, at my high school club, everybody was at each other's throats like all day long and it was awful and people hated each other.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're taking all these people from their high school clubs and like this environment, that doesn't happen. And so I think another thing that I've noticed, and I want to see what you think of this, but I feel like over the years, like our team has become a lot more, I guess, inclusive, or I feel like, I don't know, like I remember when I was a freshman, this is not shade to anyone, but I just remember feeling like, sometimes I kind of doubted like, oh, am I really a member of this team? And yeah, I kind of feel like I didn't talk to everyone on the team. It was like I had my few people, but I feel like over the years it's really become like everybody talks to everyone. Yeah. And we all build each other up no matter if you're a senior or a freshman.
Yeah. So I like really made a point of reaching out to the freshmen and being like, okay, I'm an upperclassman. I'm the captain. Let's talk to you. Let's make sure I know you as a person and know what you're looking for, what your aspirations are, so I can make sure that you feel included on the team. And I think that helped a lot. I think last year's freshmen are really well incorporated into the team. It wasn't, it's not just like, oh, this upper class.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I think this year's freshmen just like clicked right away. I don't think, I don't know. I hope so, at least, that they all feel like they're automatically part of the team. Yeah. And I'm going to try and do the same thing with the novices.
The novices are coming.
I know they're coming.
Like, so if any novices are listening to this podcast right now, just know we're really excited for you.
Yes, please come talk to me. I want to know all about you.
Yeah, exactly.
I love novice.
Me too. It's been so long since we've had any. So, okay. So I guess the next topic we'll cover is coaching, which you briefly alluded to. So you coach for your old high school team.
I do.
Yeah. So how did you get started with that?
So I'm from Seattle-ish. I'm from like 40 minutes outside of Seattle. I live in a city called Sammamish. It's also the name of the club. It's Sammamish Rowing Association. We row on Lake Sammamish. So that's where I'm from. That's where I rowed in high school. I rowed all 4 years, sort of. Well, no, I rowed for 3 years. I had to take my senior year off of high school rowing, which sucked. I had a condition called vocal cord dysfunction, where instead of, when you breathe in, instead of your vocal cords opening up, they close and you can't breathe. Oh, wow. And I had to like take the year off to relearn how to breathe. My senior year, I was still like, I still wanted to be involved with rowing and I didn't want to just be home alone all the time. So I reached out to a woman I had done some volunteering for in the past who is now coaching the middle schoolers. And I was like, hey, can I like coach for you? Like, can I work for you? And she was like, well, we can't pay you till you're 18, so you can just come and volunteer and coach. And so I was essentially like a volunteer coach / permanent coxswain for these middle schoolers. Okay. So I helped run workouts. I helped figure out what workouts to do when the water was too bad. I wrangled middle schoolers, which, oh God.
That sounds hard.
I did a lot of, I did a lot of coxing, which is actually like really hard. Coxing is hard. It's like not easy to do.
It is. For my 5 minutes of, or my, not 5 minutes, 15 minutes of coxing like a month ago, I was like,
it's hard.
This
it's not
easy for me.
So that's how I started coaching, and I ended up applying for a job as like a real coach for that summer. And I started coaching the Learn to Row program, and I was doing Learn to Row when I was doing middle school. And that was so rewarding, and it was so much fun, and it was so exhausting, but I like had a great time. And they've just asked for me to come back every year since. And then at the end of this year, when I'm all done, I'm going to be salaried there, and they're going to hire me full time.
Wow. Yeah. That's so exciting. I love that for you. Do you think your perspective on the sport has changed since you started coaching?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Coaching, you have to see so many, like literally other angles of the sport. Yeah. Like, what does the boat look like from bow? Looking at it from the bow. What does it look like looking at it from the stern? Yeah. From the side, from whatever
so like
angle.
Your literal perspective.
Literally your perspective is different. But I've learned so much about like doing it for fun. Like, I coach a lot of master's programs now, which are, master's is just anyone who's over 18 or over collegiate age. I've learned so much about these people who, like, just come to row 3 times a week and just bust their asses 3 times a week, and just because they think it's fun, like, not because they necessarily want medals or, like, this is just their exercise. This is just their workout for the week. Like, I coach this woman named Sharon, light of my life. She's 80 years old and still comes and rows 3 times a week.
Wow.
And there's like 3 other people that are like old and retired, and they literally just like come to row to keep their bodies moving.
How does their back handle
I know.
that?
I don't
Because I
know.
feel like I can't at 21.
I know. Same.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so glad that you're going to be going into something that you absolutely love after college. Because I feel like that's the dream. You know, that's the dream. Okay, next up, let's talk about injuries.
My specialty.
Yeah. So, I guess, I don't know, like, do you want to
start from the beginning?
Give a little introduction about your injured life?
I'm extremely injured in all of the ways. I've like actually been injured as long as I've been an athlete. So when I did soccer and karate, I had a lot of knee and ankle tendonitis because I never learned how to run properly. Literally September of my novice year, I tweaked my back doing a 5K prep because we didn't do 6Ks in high school. We did 5Ks.
Right.
So it was like 2 by 5K, 250 on, 250 off. Like literally looking back, the easiest possible workout ever. But like I managed to tweak something. I probably shot my slide or whatever. And I was just in a lot of pain, and I was out of the sport for 4 months. And I did a lot of sitting in the launch in a lot of below freezing weather. It was awful.
I forget that it's cold other places.
It was really cold. And I came back and I ended up stroking the novice B boat, and we won.
Look at you. Look at you.
Sophomore year and junior year, I actually dealt a lot with depression. I've struggled with depression now since freshman year of high school, and it's a never-ending battle. It's just always there.
Yeah.
And mental health stuff is really hard, and it really sucks. I think my coaches tried their best, but when they're running a team, like, there's only so much they can do.
Yeah.
Then senior year, I had to take off for the vocal cord dysfunction.
Yeah.
Freshman year, full year, or freshman year of college. Freshman college. That year was amazing. I got to go to nationals as a freshman. It was pretty
so
banging.
Cool. That's so cool. In the 4, right?
In the 4.
Yeah.
At that point, I had IT band friction syndrome in my left knee, which I still get sometimes. But that wasn't like debilitating, it just hurt. Sophomore to now senior year of rowing, I've had various issues with my back. I have a lot of back pain. There's not something super wrong with it necessarily. Like I can't say like, oh, I fractured, or I have a bulged disc. Bulging disc. I don't have like any discs bulging or like sprain or strain or anything. It's just like I have scoliosis, and it hurts, and I have a lot of muscle imbalances. And then this year especially, I've been dislocating my ribs a lot.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
That's why I'm switching sides.
I didn't know it was because you were dislocating your ribs.
Yeah, because my scoliosis, I have rotoscoliosis with lumbar lordosis.
Yeah.
For a long time, I was forbidden from rowing starboard because if I'm already I'm twisting my body to the left, which is the way my the rotation in my scoliosis has me go. If I had rowed starboard, I'd be stuck way over here. And so port actually helped me straighten out, go to the other side a little bit, but now it's too much and I need to go back.
Go back? Interesting.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Are you looking forward to being done with rowing and not be in pain anymore?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually I was working with Lee from Optimum Peak Fitness. Plug for them. You don't have to. I don't care. It's in Sammamish. No one, or in Redmond, in Seattle.
Well,
but
anyone who's there, I guess
highly
recommend.
Check it out. But he actually had me doing a whole bunch of exercises that I've never done before, and I didn't have any back pain.
Wow.
Which I've never had.
Yeah.
My back is hurt for 8 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to keep working with him and hopefully not be in pain anymore. But yes, as much as I love the sport, I'm really, really looking forward to finishing off the next 4.5 months and being done.
Yeah. Where do you know when to draw the line between keep going and I need to stop?
Excellent. Very good question. I am very, very aware of my body because of all of the injuries I've had. I've like developed a really good sense of body awareness. So I like know how much is too much. Like I can pretty much tell you like to the minute, like this is too much. But fortunately, Colin and Kim have been really supportive, and Charlotte, of course, have been really supportive in allowing me to like set my boundaries this year of like, I can't erg for more than 10 minutes, and like, okay, whatever, do as much as you can and then get off. Communicate with your coaches. This is like, it's so much easier to like have a good relationship with them.
Definitely.
And it's so much easier on the coach's end and on the athlete's end when they like know what's going on. And like can solve a problem together. And
if you did tell them and they don't care,
that's a different problem.
You have a problem.
Right.
When I was also doing my light research about you, I saw on your profile on the website that you won Newcomer of the Year as a freshman.
I did.
And I just wanted to ask you about that, like kind of your reflections of like where you are now.
So my freshman year is like, it's such a wild thing to think about. Like I came in after having not rowed for a year and like I was super out of shape because I literally couldn't breathe and so I couldn't do any cardio. And I just came in and I was like, I'm going to be out of shape and it's just what it's going to be. Like, whatever. If I end up slowest on the team, I end up slowest on the team. And I did. I was slowest on the team. We did the 8K at the beginning of the year and I was literally the last one done. 8K. I got lapped several times on the 2-mile run and it just like, I was like, okay, well, this is my own fault. I didn't work out. Or well, it wasn't really my fault, but like this is the outcome of the situation that I was in. And I was like, whatever, okay, I'm at the bottom, this is fine. I have to relearn how to row. I haven't done this in a while. I have to figure out what stroke they want, like all of this stuff. I'm getting more in shape, and then I'm like, I don't want to be on the bottom anymore. I don't like this. And so I would look at the person next to me. It's like, I'm going to beat them. I'm going to beat this person. I'm going to beat this person. And that's how I ended up like top 10 ergs. Or like, I think ended up like 5th or something.
You make it sound so easy.
But like, it's so much easier to look at the person next to you and be like, okay, they're pulling 2 splits faster than me. I can do I can do 2 splits. That's a split, no, easy. That's fine. That's totally fine. Also, one of the big things I learned that year was like in high school we had to do like 500 meter by 500 meter plans for all of our erg tests, and that gave me so much anxiety because I would be like
you did that for your 5Ks?
Yeah,
that's for me.
I know.
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't do it like that.
But like, because I was so out of shape and didn't know what my body was capable of, I was like, I'm just gonna like, I still go into erg tests with like, I don't know how I'm gonna pull. It's just gonna be what it is. And high school is so, like, if I wasn't pulling a 157 there and I was pulling like a 158 or 159, I was like, well, now I'm never gonna make it. I'm never gonna do it. And then I would just get slower and slower and more anxious and more anxious. And it's just so much easier to be like, I'll just do what I can do.
Yeah.
So that like mindset and that mentality really helped me through freshman year. I ended up seat racing into the 4. I ended up going to Dadville's and NCAA's that year, our last team NCAA's before we switched to D1. But yeah, those races were so rewarding, and it was so much fun to like my boat was all seniors and me, and it was so much fun to like spend time with these people I had barely gotten to know before they left.
Yeah. Okay, so do you think winning that award had an impact on the way you saw yourself in the coming years?
Yes, for sure. It like definitely set the standards high.
Yeah.
The coaches were really proud of me, and they now knew what I was capable of and expected a lot from me. Winning the award, I was like, okay, maybe I am good at this. Maybe I never got to be like validated like that in high school.
Are you a big words of affirmation person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like that put pressure on you the following year, or do you feel like it was more of an encouragement?
I think it was an encouragement because like I still don't know what I'm capable of. Like I had reached a peak, but who knows if there could have been more. If I hadn't been injured, if COVID didn't happen, like who knows where I could have been by the end of that.
Yeah.
So I think it was super encouraging. Like, yeah, it's hard like having those high expectations on you, but I personally thrive when people are like, yeah, I think you can do it, or like, I think you're capable of X.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, great, I'll do it.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
I know. I feel like, it always means so much just to have like that feeling of like the whole team is backing you up. Like they're behind you and they're like, yeah, we want you to succeed.
Exactly.
I feel like that feels so good, and that is such a huge reason to be on a team and like even do this, because people ask me all the time, they're like, why do you do that, why do you wake up so early? I feel like I would hate that, whatever, but
because there's
like,
30 people saying like, yeah, you got this, we're pulling just as hard as you are.
Exactly. So we're gonna do a little bit of personal rowing insights. So what is your favorite thing about rowing?
I love that you can only push harder. In rowing, there's one thing you can do, and it's push harder. You can really feel exactly how much energy you're putting in to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any rowing pet peeves?
Rush.
Like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, everyone hates it.
Yeah.
It literally is bad. Everyone feels bad when the boat is rushing.
Yeah. Rowing pet peeves.
Especially as a stroke, because you stroke a lot.
Yeah.
So.
I have a couple. My pet peeve about the sport is that it's like so easy to get injured. I wish there was a way to like prevent some of that, but you know, there's only so much to do.
Yeah. I don't even know if that's a pet peeve. I feel like that's just
it's just life.
A problem.
Yeah, it is.
Like a major glaring problem about
also,
rowing.
About another glaring problem about rowing, I hate how like white it is. Like as I am extremely white, but like I grew up in a fairly diverse area. Like almost all my friends growing up were like Indian or East Asian of some sort. And it felt really weird, like joining a sport where everyone's white, and it's especially like on the club level, because it's so expensive. Like that cost is like so prohibitive for people who like just can't afford it, or like
it's not economically diverse or racially diverse.
Right. Plug Rowing in Color.
Yeah.
Because they're amazing, and they do so much for like building diversity in the sport.
Absolutely.
And I think that's another glaring problem that needs to be addressed in rowing.
Rowing in Color is another podcast about rowing.
About rowing.
Yeah.
Minor pet peeves. It bothers me when people like say they're putting in effort and they're not.
Yeah, because I feel like that really breaks down the trust.
Right.
And I think a lot of rowing is trust.
Yes.
When you're in a boat with however many other people.
Yeah.
So yeah. Was there ever a time you wanted to quit rowing, and if so, what made you stay?
Several times. Yeah, actually. Like,
I mean, I feel like with your injury situation, like a lot of people would just be like, I'm done.
Yeah. Rowing has been the bane of my existence and the love of my life for a very long time.
Yeah.
In high school, my junior year, I was really struggling mentally, and I actually I was on the experienced team, but I approached one of the novice coaches, like, hey, what do I do if I feel like I want to quit? And we had a long conversation about that. I don't remember what it was anymore. There were only a couple more months left in the season, and I think I just wanted to see it through. And then senior year, when I took off, I quit, sort of. There were air quotes there.
Yeah, for this
non-visual podcast.
Yeah.
It made me miss rowing. Like, it made me realize how much I loved the sport, even if I didn't necessarily love the team.
Yeah.
Or the situation I was in at the time. I really missed it, and I really missed the movement of it, and I missed being in a boat on the water and all of those things. Yeah. And then being in collegiate rowing, there have definitely been times that I've been frustrated, but I don't think I've necessarily wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I've actually talked to a lot of people recently because I'm so burnt out of online school that if I wasn't rowing, I would have dropped out of college. So rowing is literally allowing me to complete my degree right now.
Yeah. I also thought about that at a certain point. This was beginning of COVID. I was because a lot of people were saying, oh, I'm going to take a gap year until online school stops, because I don't really want to learn this way. And I thought about it, but I was like, well, I don't know, I can't really leave the team. So Like,
yeah, especially like
I guess I'll stay.
I am a big believer in like the whole distance makes the heart grow fonder thing. Like if you are a person feeling like you want to quit, take a couple days off, and like if you feel better, then stay out. Yeah. But if you like by like the third day or whatever and you're just itching to go back on the water, like clearly you still love the sport, and like there's something that brings you back. Once people are burnt out, there's like are like not enjoying it anymore, it's really just not fun. Yeah, it's no fun for anyone. Absolutely. So I'm a big believer in like taking a little bit of time off and seeing like how you really feel about that. But it's like with COVID, that's like doing that. All I want to do is go on the water right now.
What are some things that you feel like you've sacrificed for rowing?
Everything.
There's
it's a love-hate relationship, right? Like you do everything so that you can do the sport, and then you hate that you do the sport because you can't do anything. My roommates and I got in a big fight sophomore year because they're like, you don't spend any time with us, all you do is row. And I think like that made me really take a look back and like think about what I wanted my priorities to be. I've sacrificed the quality of my homework sometimes, but
you're still getting those degrees.
Getting the degree, it doesn't matter.
What do you feel like you've gained though?
Everything. I've lost everything and I've gained everything. Like this sport is who I am. Like I can picture nothing else but to like be involved in this sport for the rest of my life. Like if I was an official or if I just came to watch races or coached part-time, like I would have to be involved somehow. Like I love the beauty of being out in nature every day. I love an excuse to go outside. I love like the sound of the bubbles underneath the boat. Wow. Like
Teresa said that. I was like, I've never noticed that. You said it too. So
it's a thing. I'll point it out to you next time.
I guess I really need to start listening more.
I don't know. I love the sounds that the boats make. I love that I have built-in friends. I love, like, this team really got me through my freshman year because everyone was just super friendly and was like, yeah, come hang out with us. You don't know anyone here. Just come hang out with the team. Like, this team has given me so much of, like, my closest friends, like Kiana. I never would have met her if we weren't rowing. I have such an appreciation for my body, and like I've learned so much about my body and like how to treat it better and how to treat my mind better, and I've learned so much about mental toughness and physical toughness and like trusting people and how much you have to give yourself up to others in order to be able to push farther yourself.
Something that's interesting that I picked up on, so you said, okay, so you've had to sacrifice everything, but you also gained everything,
right?
Like that gives me very religious vibes, if you know what I mean. Like, not in the sense, I'm not saying
rowing
you're
religious,
is my religion.
but
like I didn't want to say that because I'm like, that's so
no, I know what
cheesy,
you mean.
like, but like this is something so huge that gives a lot of meaning to your life in the way that, whatever religion, spirituality does. So yeah, I just picked up on those vibes.
I see that. I'm connecting the dots.
So, okay.
I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Last thing, before we get into our Crew Chats countdown. So we've talked a lot about rowing, but you do have a life outside of rowing.
Do I?
So what are some of your other interests? Because I know you have other interests.
I do have other interests. Yeah. I play a lot of video games.
What are your favorites?
I've played a lot of World of Warcraft. I've played a lot of League of Legends.
I don't know like anything about video games, so I'm sorry.
They're like the typical nerdy games.
Oh, okay.
It's just like my bonding activity with my friends is playing video games.
Yeah.
It was also my bonding activity with my dad for a while. We played World of Warcraft together.
That's sweet.
I cross-stitch.
Yeah.
Fiber crafts.
Yeah.
That's like my idle hands thing. I don't necessarily do it for the art. I just do it so I have something to do. But I love doing it, and it's really fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we will move into our Crew Chats. It's always so hard for me to say. Crew Chats countdown. These are 10 rapid-fire questions, just to get to know a little bit more about you at the end of our podcast. So, number 1, what is your favorite rowing memory?
Like Weira. Freshman year was like one of the most fun races I've ever had.
Everyone I talk to from this from our class,
Weira.
Like I say, what's your favorite memory, and they'll be like Weira.
Yeah,
because it was awesome.
It was so fun
for everyone. So
we ended up, like, the whole team swept second at that race.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I, like, relive it every
amazing.
once in a while when I'm sad.
Okay, number 2. What is your favorite seat to row?
Stroke. Or 6.
Yeah.
Or, well, I guess 7 or 5 now. Anyone in stern 4.
So why do you like stern 4 so much as opposed to bow 4?
I learned to row in stroke seat, as you did.
Yeah, I did too.
I love stroking. It's so much fun to, like, I'm a very rhythmic person, and so I just get really into the rhythm of the boat. I like talking to the coxswain.
Me too.
It's just fun.
It's a party up there.
Well, I like talking to the coxswain about, like, okay, how can we improve? But it's fun to shoot the shit.
And sometimes they ask you, oh, what do you feel?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I feel so special.
Recently I've been loving 6 because it hurts my back a little less. I will really enjoy 7 seat once I get good at starboard. I just need more time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like being in, like, that stern 3 where you have a lot of impact in the boat.
Yes. Me too. Okay, number 3, a misconception about rowing that you'd like to debunk.
It's not an arm sport.
Yeah.
It's a leg sport. It's not an arm sport.
Yeah. Number 4, what do you like to eat before practice?
I don't usually eat, like, a whole lot. Obviously, you have to fuel before practice.
Yeah.
I usually have, like, an applesauce and half a protein bar.
Yeah.
But after practice,
Yeah.
that's when the feast begins.
Meal. Yeah, exactly.
Uncrustables, clutch.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's your favorite post-practice snack from the nutrition table?
The original snack that my dad makes fun of me for because it's for children is chocolate soy milk, an Uncrustable, and an applesauce.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's delicious
good.
and nutritious.
It is a kid's meal, but it is good.
Yes.
So, that's awesome. Okay, number 6, what is your pre-race or pre-erg test pump-up song?
My pre-2K song is Drum Machine. Just because it's a banger.
Okay.
Pre-race, especially sprint race, is Elevate. It's from the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack.
Okay.
Like, the chorus is gotta go hard, I gotta elevate.
That's like it's
just rowing, you know.
Yeah.
I've been really into K-pop recently.
Oh,
so
right.
I think 2 big hype songs right now are, like, by Stray Kids, like God's Menu, a banger. Domino, that one always gets me hyped.
Okay, 6Ks or 2Ks?
2Ks.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of
sprinter.
self-explanatory. I don't know.
Not an endurance
People
person.
who love 6Ks, they're a different breed.
Yeah.
So.
Hot take, I like doing 2Ks. Like, I enjoy it.
That is a hot take.
Hot take. I'm a sprinter, it's what I do.
I throw up, so
I know.
How could I like
Did you throw up after the one in the fall?
No.
Good job.
The thing is, I did have to run out. I was on the verge, but I did throw up during the 6K, or not during, after the 6K.
Yeah.
So.
We gotta fix that.
I don't know how. I don't think it's fixable. I don't think I can fix it.
We'll work on it. I'll do some research
for you. I have looked so. I've done internet research. Okay, I sent a screenshot to Kiana of my Google search history, and it was like
how not to throw up after.
Why do I always throw up after working out hard? Why? And one of them was, why do people want to work out to the point where they throw up? It was just like all these things, like throw up, GI, intestinal problems, like working out. Yeah. So when my rowing career ends, like I'm hoping that my barf era ends.
It's not the flop era.
I'm in my barf era. So yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, number 8. 4s or 8s?
My entire collegiate career has been spent in 4s, and I love them, but I'm sick of them.
So you're saying 8s?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9. What would you say to someone interested in trying rowing?
Do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Just
of.
do it.
You can try it for a day things, or you can try it, like, especially, like, not in the collegiate. Starting in collegiate rowing is really hard. Like, props to you. I knew what I was getting into. You did not.
Well, did you know what you were getting into when you were in 8th grade?
No.
Yeah, no, you did it. And now you're here.
Yeah, I am.
However many years later.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, row for a day, row for a month, row for a couple weeks, and I highly recommend it. It's so fun.
Yeah. Okay, my last question is, what's one thing you would recommend this week?
This week?
It can be anything.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Do some self-care. Go listen to some good music and take a walk outside in the sun.
That's good.
Do something that brings you joy in this time of in these unprecedented times.
Okay.
I hate that word so much.
Me too. I'm like over it. It's not unprecedented anymore.
No, it's
if it's
not.
been going on for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not unprecedented anymore.
It just isn't.
One thing that I recommend this week is crossword puzzles.
Yes.
Because, so on Sunday, I went to the bookstore and I picked up a copy of the New York Times because I was going to make a collage with it. But it also comes with the crossword puzzle. I love doing the minis every day, but I wanted to do the full, and they're really challenging. I mean, to people who do them a lot, they're probably not challenging.
Right. And there's so many references that you have to know.
A lot of stuff I'm like, okay, I just wouldn't know that, so I do have to Google.
Yes.
But I was really proud of myself for finishing it.
Good job.
And I would recommend it to people who like puzzles and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me for this podcast episode. Is there anything that you want to plug, like any social media or something else?
No.
You've already made some plugs, during the podcast. So
go listen to K-pop. K-pop's fun.
K-pop, rowing in color, and your personal trainer. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast episode. Bye.
Bye.